Hey guys! Dating in 2026 is actually unhinged. Ghosting, situationships, gaslighting, breadcrumbing, icks that come out of nowhere. One minute you're talking every day, and the next, you're blocked. Left questioning your whole personality. People are swiping like crazy, getting completely delulu, dealing with beige flags, and then rushing to TikTok to spill their wildest dating horror stories. It's straight up chaos, like a reality show where nobody knows the rules anymore. Today, we brought you the real ones. Raw TikTok clips from actual people, their honest stories, and unfiltered opinions. First, just watch the full compilation. Laugh if you want, get shocked, and relate hard. Then, at the end, I'll sit down and give you my personal take. A real psychology breakdown and honest analysis, why all of this is happening, and how to actually navigate this mess in 2026. So if you're ready, smash that like button right now. Drop your craziest dating story in the comments, and let's dive in. Dating in 2026 is actually unhinged.
I called my friends with benefits, situationship, whatever you want to call it. I gave him a call a few days ago, and he did not respond. He didn't text. He didn't get back to me at all. And then he texted me back a few days later. And he said, like, hey, sorry I didn't get back to you. Like, hey, want to hang out? A few days later. And then I thought to myself, like, do I really want to sleep with someone who ignores my calls, who ignores my texts, who lets days go by without, like, responding? Like, I literally called you. You can text, like, hey, I can't talk right now, blah, blah, blah. Like, just out of respect. Doesn't matter what we have and what we don't have. Out of respect. Don't ignore my calls. Don't ignore my texts. Anyway, I responded to him, hey, yeah, I just wanted to call you to let you know I just got into a relationship and we can't do this anymore. Fuck you. Fuck you, you idiot.
You guys. Why are you guys like this? I don't even know how to say it. I'm embarrassed to even say it for them. I am referring to guys that are in their 30s. So I went out with this guy today, and he literally was, I'm like so embarrassed to even say this for them, like embarrassed on their behalf. Okay. So I went out with this guy today, and he had been wanting to see me for a while. So I last minute was like, hey, like, do you want to do lunch? And then he's like, sure, blah, blah, blah. Mind you, it's his day off. I'm at work. So he goes, help me find a place. Help you find a place? I live over an hour away. I'm in your area. I made time to see you. I'm at work. Help you find a place? I said, LOL, no, I'm at work. I'm so busy. I'm literally like, I'll catch you on my lunch break. You're off. And I'm in your neighborhood. Okay. And then when we were eating, he was like, you're paying, right? Like, it's your turn to pay. And like, obviously at this point, I'm not having the best attitude. And I get it. It's like, I'm probably not being very pleasant to be around, but it's a reaction of what I'm hearing. My turn to pay. Like, it's really making me want to just be like, let's just completely be friends. Like, and, you know, we can pay our own portions. I don't have a problem paying, but it's just like when a man is courting you and it's not like we're boyfriend, girlfriend, and they're the ones that wanted to see you for the longest time. Anyways, so the bill comes, and I was going to pay the whole thing, but like he still paid anyway. So I like, maybe he's just joking. I don't know, but he always makes these jokes, and I'm not, it's not attractive. And then, like, don't get me wrong, there's other qualities that are good, but I'm just saying the things that really stuck with me. And then at the end, we were talking about vacations and stuff, and he like wanted me to come on something, and he said jokingly, but it's not a joke to me, he was like, oh, so like, are you gonna pull out like $20,000 and like take us on vacation? What? I'm not the one asking to go on vacation, first of all. And I just said, normally guys offer to pay for my vacations. Like, I'm just so confused. And then one time, I don't even want to get into it. It's like,
it's 2026 now. People of my generation, 40s, 40 plus, that are single, looking to mingle, looking for love. Are we just fucked? Are we just screwed? Is it just not going to happen now? Do we just have to accept it, that that's it, that we're going to be sitting in the house on our own all the time? Is it done? Because it certainly feels like it's done. Like, honestly, I don't see where you're going to meet anybody. Like, I live out in the country near a small rural town, and there's nobody, no eligible people about. Honest to God, there's not. So how are you doing it? Is there any good stories out there? Like, have you started dance classes or going to walking clubs or something? Or are you meeting anybody? And don't say apps. Jesus Christ, for the love of God, don't say apps. They are the reason they are the reason we're fucked. They are the reason we're screwed. And Love Island, I blame that big load of shite. Because everybody seems to just be replaceable now. All this recoupling bollocks. Give me a break. But yeah, I just think we're fucked. And listen, maybe it's not a bad thing. Maybe it's not a bad thing. But I worry for the next generation. I worry for my children. What romance and dating is going to be like for them. What do you think? Any thoughts?
Dating in 2026 is tough. It's not easy out there for men and for women. So these are some of the reasons I think dating is so hard at the moment. The first problem with dating currently is the dating apps. You have access to so many people. The initial stages of actually going on a date. You'd think it would be easy, but it's like if you say one wrong thing or if you don't respond within a certain time frame which suits the person, just will stop replying and then you go on to the next person. Also, if you do start seeing someone, I think it's really common now for people to just keep, like, if they're dating someone, or just to keep swiping, and because they want to know what the next best option is, it just puts limits to what something can progress to, because you're just always looking for the next best thing. My second issue with dating at the moment is it's like these kind of rules around you shouldn't message first, or you should wait this long to reply. Sometimes you think, if I'm my authentic self, am I just going to scare them away? Like, I see so much on social media around how a girl should act in a relationship, how a guy should act, and you kind of think, oh my god, like, do I have to play these games as well to be successful in dating? My next thing, people like to say a lot, which they actually don't mean. This saying, action speaks louder than words, like, that is so true, and I've definitely started to learn that this is true in the dating world. I've noticed, especially with the situations I've had, people will say so much lovely stuff that they want to do X, Y, Z, and then you get excited, you're like, oh my god, like, this could be going somewhere. And then they mean it in the moment, but really, they don't actually want anything serious. Once you realise that actions mean more than words, it's kind of quite easy to take a step back and leave the situation.
Here's one of the problems with dating in our society right now is that when you're on a walk, doesn't matter where, you can be like in the cutest area, the cutest, hottest people hang out there, and you're just like walking, and then you see a hot guy approaching, and he's wearing a hat and sunglasses, and you know he sees you, and you see him, and then the closer you get, you're like getting ready to be like, you know, not that will get you really anywhere, because who's stopping to be like, stop, your smile was so amazing, I have to flirt with you. It could happen, you never know. So anyways, you're getting close, the moment's building, and then you finally get close, and you look up to see the guy, and he looks at his phone. It's like, that was your moment, dude. That was your moment to stare me in the eye and just be like, I think you're cute. But no, you have to look at your phone because you're like, pussy ass bitch. Along with the no phone parties that I'm obsessed with, I think we should do no phone walks. Even though I'm on my phone right now talking to my camera, no one's stopping me. But you know what? I see no one. I bet you if I walk past someone right now while I'm talking, I'm gonna say, hi, how are you? What's wrong with a hi, how are you? There's really nothing wrong with it. I mean, I did just see a really hot guy, and that was what triggered this whole thought, because we saw each other. We were both looking cool, and then the moment approached and I looked and he looked down. Fuck. That might be the key source in one of the areas that are wrong with dating right now. I just wanna say it. I'm putting it out there. Let me know what you think. Would you stop and say hi to someone on a walk? Let me know.
Get unready with me while I tell the story of how I got kidnapped on a date. I'm the kind of person that has the craziest dating stories. For some reason, something crazy always happens to me. So I have a lot of dating lore that I think would be fun to share. I'm thinking of making a little series about it, maybe a little Utah dating chronicles, if you will. Let me know if that's something you guys would be interested in. This one's a good one, so let's jump right in. Okay, so for starters, I'm from Utah. Everyone here is pretty special, as we all know. I went to college in Utah County. I was at UVU, and it's really close to BYU. So this first story involves a boy from BYU, which, if you know anything about BYU boys, it can't be good. They're literally the scariest type of people. I go out on this date with this boy I had met a couple times before. He ended up texting me and was like, we have a huge group date this weekend, wondering if you would want to be my date. I'm like, yeah, totally. Let's go. Like, group date, harmless, right? Group dates are just like fun. You end up meeting a ton of different people. Fast forward, he comes, he picks me up for this date. We get to his car and he's like, so I have some bad news. He's like, everybody bailed. It's the craziest thing. I'm like, really? Everyone on this huge group date bailed, really? I don't know if boys think we're like buying into their bits, but I'm sitting here like, okay, this was for sure planned. So he's like, I have an idea, but it's a surprise. We start driving up Provo Canyon, and it has been a solid 20 or 30 minutes of going up the canyon at this point. So I ask him, where are we going? Like, it's been a minute and we're still in the middle of nowhere. Very casually, he's just like, oh, I thought we'd go to Park City. Now, Park City is not by Provo. It's a drive. I mean, nothing crazy, but it's a drive. It was like late at night already at this point. I was just kind of surprised that we're making a little road trip to Park City late at night from Provo. We finally get to Park City. It's like 10:30 p.m. We get to Main Street where like there's a bunch of shops and stuff, but it's like late, so of course everything is closed. I in my brain know this, but I'm just like, see what he has planned. He's like, let's go walk around some shops. We get out of the car and he's like, oh my gosh, everything is closed. Of course it is. You planned this. And I'm like, wow, no way. Like, come on. So then he goes, oh my gosh, I have a brilliant idea. And he's like, my family, he's from Arizona. He's like, my family has a second house here in Park City and no one's using it. Like, how about we just go hang out there? Well. Obviously, this was the plan the whole entire time. Honestly, you could have just told me that you wanted to go out with me and that we're gonna go to your house in Park City and hang out, and I probably would have been down. But no, you had to lie about it and make up this whole... If you're a guy watching this, please tell me the logic. I don't know. I just don't get it. So I'm like, great, let's go. We're already up here. I'm getting tired of your games. Like, let's just get to the point. Let's go. We go to this ginormous house in Park City. There are no other houses around this house. No neighbors, don't know where we are, like couldn't tell you how to get there. It's late at night. Obviously just like getting kind of an eerie vibe. We get to this house and he's like, this is it. We go inside. It's literally covered in like dead animals. Maybe they're a hunting family. It's just the vibe of Park City, like it's mountains and whatever, I don't know. But the whole place is just freaking covered in taxidermy and like fur rugs, and I'm just like, this is straight out of a horror movie. But we go to the kitchen and he's like, do you want a Diet Coke? So Utah. Chatting, whatever. I'm like, literally, what is the point of this night? Almost midnight at this point. He just like starts making out with me in the kitchen, which I'm like, whatever, sure. A good old Utah college makeout. If you know, you know.
I just saw a guy post a video about 5 reasons why everyone's single right now, and it was just, he hit all the points so perfectly. If I remember his name, I'll like drop his name or tag it in the comments. But there was one point he talked about in particular that I thought was so interesting that not a lot of people talk about why everyone is single. And it's actually something I've seen a lot, especially used kind of as an excuse for men. But I just thought this point was really interesting. Because the obvious reasons are, you know, social media, dating apps, etc., has ruined dating, which we know this. Yes, that's true. But another point he made is that a lot of people, like older generations, when they met when they were like super poor or like they didn't have to be like in a certain place in life in order to get into a relationship and get married. And now we see a lot of people today who use that as an excuse to not get into a relationship or not want something serious or not want marriage. They say that they need to do X, Y, and Z, or they need to make a certain amount of money in order to be in a relationship or feel comfortable to take something seriously. And I especially see this with men a lot, men that I've talked to, men that my girlfriends have talked to, even guy friends that I've talked to who are almost 30 and still not ready because they're not where they want to be in life, or they're not making a certain amount of money, or don't have that business that they've been wanting to start, which to a certain extent I get. Sometimes you do need to focus on yourself and you really just don't have time to bring another person into your life. But it gets to a certain point where I just feel like it's like, I'm sorry, but you're going to end up being single for the rest of your life. Like, I think that if you want a family, then prioritizing getting into a relationship is something that should be important to you, especially when you're in your late 20s. Because you're going to start running out of options. People are going to start getting into relationships and getting married, and your options become more and more limited the older you get. And one example I can think of is somebody that I know who is in their mid-30s already and is someone who is like posting and like reposting content about like having to like work on yourself, or like kings chase the crown and don't chase the queen, like that type of content. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, but and this is a person that has said that like they do want to get married and have a family one day. And I'm like, you're already in your mid-30s and you're like consuming and liking this kind of content of like you still need to keep working on yourself and like achieve all these things, like just obviously like not prioritizing or like wanting to put any sort of effort into starting some sort of serious relationship. Like, I don't know. I really don't understand it, because to me, I think that you can always work on yourself and better yourself even while in a relationship. Like, isn't that the whole point? Like, you're going to change and grow, but you're going to do that with somebody who is there to support you and be in your corner. And I think that whole aspect of a relationship is so cool. And like, I am someone who wants a family and kids. If you don't ever want a family and kids, then obviously it's not something you ever need to prioritize. But I don't know. It's just something I've seen time and time again with like guys, especially that like I've talked to, or just like guy friends of like, they're already in their late 20s or early 30s and they're still not ready to settle down because they're not in the certain place that they want to be in life. And like my parents, for example, they have been happily married for a long time and met when they were both super poor. And my mom just knew that my dad was a really hard worker, had a lot of ambition and drive in life, and wanted to grow with him, and they did together. My mom was able to become a stay-at-home mom because my dad now makes a lot of money, but he wasn't when they first met, and my mom was actually making more money than him when they first met. And yeah, I feel like we've like completely lost that. Like, I don't know, I think it's just really interesting. Like, I think our culture a lot really emphasizes this like self, like you need to like work on yourself and like self-improvement and self-growth. And it's like, yes, to a certain extent you do, and it is important, but it just gets to a certain point where it's like, if you're not going to put any sort of effort into trying to like meet people or get into like a serious relationship, and having a family and kids is something you want, it's like, then like, how are you going to get that? Like, I don't know. Does anybody else like feel this way or have experienced this? But it's really crazy to me, because I'm like, you're already like I'm like, dude, what do you mean you're not ready yet? Like, you're literally running out of time. Like, and I guess for women too, it's like women who like want kids maybe think about it more than guys who want kids. It's like, we do have like a biological clock in a sense. Guys don't really have to worry about that as much. So maybe that's like part of the reason too, but I don't know. I just find it so interesting. And yeah, it's like, you can still work on yourself while getting into a relationship. Like,
This girl is dropping real truth. She's calling out guys who keep saying, I'm not ready yet, not enough money, not successful enough. So they stay single and post king chase the crown content. Bro, I get focusing on yourself, but when you're almost 30 or mid-30s and still using that excuse, it's not ambition, it's fear. Older generations met broke and built together. You can grow in a relationship too, with someone supporting you. If you actually want a family, stop waiting for perfect timing. Time is running out for everyone. What do you think? Is not ready a real excuse in 2026 or just procrastination? Drop it in the comments.
Ich glaube, ich habe offiziell den lustigsten Korb überhaupt bekommen. Ich muss euch aber ganz kurz davon erzählen. Ich hatte gestern ein Date und es lief auch richtig gut. Also, es war echt nett. Der sah gut aus, wir haben uns gut verstanden. So, die Werte haben gepasst. So, erstmal ist schön und gut. So. Und dann haben wir uns verabschiedet und dann bin ich nach Hause. Und irgendwie habe ich schon gedacht, dass er nochmal schreibt, aber irgendwie kam halt nichts mehr. Und ich dachte mir schon so, ist irgendwie ein bisschen komisch, aber gut. Ich lasse dem Juden nochmal ein bisschen Zeit, sich zu melden. Ich meine, ich hätte mich auch melden können, aber ich habe nach einem Treffen gefragt und ich habe das alles so initiiert, deswegen dachte ich so, ist jetzt auch irgendwie sein Turn. Naja, jedenfalls hat er dann irgendwann abends so meine Story geliked. Ich musste ja irgendwie so lachen. Und also dachte ich so, ja, okay, ist ja eigentlich positiv, weil, ja, Typen gefühlt ja mit Story-Liken flirten, das ist nochmal ein anderes Thema, aber gut. Aber dann habe ich gesehen, welche Story er geliked hat und er hat einfach die Story geliked, wo ich, also mein Reel von Vorabend, was ich gepostet habe, so gerepostet habe. Und das Reel, auf diesem Reel steht halt drauf, Dating didn't work out, so I fell in love with sports. Ja, und die Nachricht, also die Story hat er einfach nur geliked. Und ja, das war's bisher. Schauen wir mal, vielleicht meldet er sich ja noch, aber wenn nicht, also ich glaube, vor einem halben Jahr hätte ich es auch noch richtig scheiße gefunden, aber mittlerweile, ich finde es einfach lustig, ich lache einfach über sowas, weil ich kann das einfach nicht mehr ernst nehmen, ich nehme die ganzen Sachen einfach gar nicht mehr ernst. Ich finde es lustig und wenn das seine Art ist, einen Kopf zu geben, dann ist es irgendwo auch ein bisschen, es war einfallsreich, muss ich sagen.
5 reasons why the dating market is a struggle in 2026. Number 1, communication. For some reason nowadays, the ability to be able to express boundaries, wants, needs, or even just the way you feel about something that may have occurred or how you feel about the person you're dating, for some reason is very rare. I think one of the biggest reasons why things fail is because people cannot just talk to each other, communicate. What do you like? Be blunt, be honest, be direct, right? Life is short, come on. Number 2, I think people have an illusion of options. And what I mean is people think there's so many other options out and about, and that leads to the grass is greener mentality and trying to just go see what else is out there. And I'm gonna let you know, the grass is not green on the other side, okay? And trust me, the streets is cold. It ain't nothing out here, I'm telling you. This mindset leads to a lack of effort when it comes to solving a problem or trying to work something out or compromise. People throw it out the window because, oh, there's other people, other options. Boom, get on a dating app, right? Number 3, not adding value. I think it is so important to add value to the person that you're dating, you're pursuing, or the person you're in a relationship with. I think so many of us are so me-focused and so solipsistic and really only worried about what are we getting in a relationship, right? When at the same time, we should be thinking, what are we giving to the person, right? Give, right? How are we adding value to this person's life? How are we making their life better, right? Adding value should be a two-way street. You should both be adding value to each other's lives. Now, adding value does not just mean financially, right? There's numerous ways that you can add value to somebody's life, right? It's as simple as just helping the person out. Maybe the person you're dealing with, dating, relationship with is going through something difficult and you're just helping them out, right? You're helping making their life easier. You're adding value. Number 4, there tends to be a decrease of effort over time. This means as time goes on, we tend to do less for our partner. We tend to stop putting our best foot forward for the person that we're with. In a sense, you stop dating each other, right? It is so important to date the person that you're with. Date them, take them out. Keep doing everything you were doing at the beginning. You should do that the whole time. Keep it up. Number 5, codependency. I think when you're dating or in a relationship, it is so important to not be codependent of each other, right? And of course, you want to build your life together and have a life together. Of course. But at the same time, it is so important to maintain your independence and maintain your own life, right? The other person should have hobbies, passions, their own friend group, right? And of course, you guys should have a life together and hobbies and things and friends that you guys have together. But it's also important to maintain being yourself and maintain your own independence, all right? So y'all drop a comment. Let me know. Am I tripping? Am I right? Let me know. Drop a comment. Talk to me.
2026, I feel like there should be no excuse as to why a man is not doing the littlest things for a woman. You mean to tell me you're not buying her flowers, you're not taking her on a date, you're not doing anything? And I get it. At one point in time, we was like, okay, sometimes men is not raised to do certain things. So like when you get in a relationship with them, it feels like you gotta teach them. But it's so many examples out here on social media itself. You see what the next person is doing in a relationship. You see what women like. Like, I'm the type of person, I repost stuff all the time. If you go look through my reposts, you'll find something. Like, you give them You literally give them hints and they still don't catch them. It's no way I'm sitting here having to say I want flowers 30 times a week. It's no reason I'm sitting here saying, I have not been on a date in such and such time. Like, let's stop settling. It's the littlest things. The littlest things. You see different people doing it in their relationship. Like, you have so many perfect examples around. I'm always seeing somebody posting something that their boyfriend is doing for them. And I'm one of those people that if my man is doing something for me, I post it. It's just too many. It's just, you have no room for excuses.
I think I've gotten stood up because I was supposed to go on a date tonight, and I drove 40 minutes to this man's place, and he texts me 10 minutes as I'm driving, and he goes, oh, I'll let you know when to come, because I'm talking to my family right now. Like, he was calling his family. And I was like, oh, that's fine. Like, I arrived, and I was like, oh, okay, he'll just be on call with his family for a bit. Like, no biggie. 30 minutes fucking later, no text, no call, like, nothing after I say, oh, oops, I arrived early. He said, for fuck's sake, I'm by the water. So I parked near the water, can't see this man. And, like, at all, like, mind you, like, there's a lot of fucking water, so he could be anywhere. And, 30 minutes goes by. No response. I text him, and I say, I say, like, okay, this is, like, kind of ridiculous now, can you text me back? And then, nothing. Mind you, at this point, I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna stick this shit out, because I wanna literally rage. It's been a fucking hour, guys. An hour, no text, no call. Mind you, I've tried to call him, attempted, nothing. Drier than my fucking cooch right now. I am so angry. I could actually be violent. Like, I'm just, you know what I'm expecting to see right now? I'm expecting to see him with another girl walk straight past me. Like, that's exactly what I'm, like, my mind is picturing right now. And I just want it to be true so I can go out there and strangle him. Anyway, I hope your night's better than mine, because I think I might have to drive home. A 40-minute drive home. And mind you, this is like 20 minutes away from my work tomorrow. So that's just a big plus for me. So hope your night's going.
Any brown guy who asks you on a Muslim dating app if you are romantic or not means that he basically wants to know if you're a DTF and you should probably run. Story time of a guy who I started talking to a couple of days ago, and it was going really well until it wasn't. I felt like he was hiding his age a little bit. I don't think he was 49. I definitely think he's a little bit older, especially since he has one kid who's in pre-med. Like, I asked him, I said, how old were you when you had these children? He goes, I think I was either 24 or 27. I can't remember. How do you not remember? After speaking a couple of times, going back and forth, he called me and he said, I would like to come see you. He lives one state over, so coming to LA was not a big deal for him. He often drives here, and it's only like a 5-hour drive. So he said, I will come and meet you. When is a really good time to meet? Just let me know. And I told him, I said, if you're going to meet, let's do it before Ramadan, because after that, I'm going to be busy and then I'm going to be traveling. But, you know, let's just meet as soon as possible if that's okay with you. And he said, yeah, I can come down this weekend. So we're having good conversation. He is giving me green flags. Well, whatever green flags are for a typical brown guy. And I'm feeling it a little bit, and I was open to it. He was really honest about like where he went to school, his career, his life with his children, what happened in his divorce, blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay, this guy like really just wants a second shot at life. He wants to find his soulmate, which I can totally understand because I'm trying to find my soulmate too. But then he asked me something like before coming over, which is, are you a romantic person? And I said, define romance. Like, what are your expectations about romance? And he said, well, I just want somebody who is like not a stiff person, because a lot of Pakistani girls on this app are very stiff, and I just want to make sure that, you know, you're open to being romantic. And I said, well, what is your like ideal romantic situation? And he said, well, you know, flowers for the girl, like just walks on the beach holding hands. He's like, I think that's romance that a lot of brown people don't do. And I understood that. I didn't really know how to answer a question like that, but I said, listen, I can totally be into it. It just depends on the person, the situation, how long we've known each other, blah, blah, blah. But let's just meet, right? Then I hang up on him and I didn't hear back from him, and I just kind of really didn't even care. So I texted him the next day and I said, hey, I just want to make sure you're still coming, because if you're not, I need to free up my weekend. And he said, no, I'm definitely coming. And, I look forward to meeting you, and I'm planning the whole day, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, perfect. After he confirms that he's coming, he asked me how my day was, blah, blah, blah. And then he asks me the same question again. He says, I just want to make sure that you're going to be very romantic on our first date. And I'm like, listen, like, what do you mean romantic? And then I asked him, I said, let me ask you, like, what is your idea of romance? And he's like, well, I would want a candlelight dinner. I would want us to walk on the beach, and then after, maybe you can come back to my hotel and we could like hang out and we could just like hug and cuddle and stuff. And I totally figured out where this was going. I said, you know what? Like, I don't think so. I know what you're trying to do. I'm not dumb. I'm definitely not a little girl. And if you think anybody's going to come back to your hotel on the first date and cuddle, like, I think you're on the wrong app. I think you need to be on Tinder instead. He got so offended, and then he started with, well, if I was looking for a girl just to meet like that, I could have found a 25-year-old where I'm from. I don't need to come over to you, blah, blah, blah. Like the typical like defensive line. And at that point, I wasn't buying it anymore. And I just kind of went back and forth with him a few times. And I said, no, this is not going to work. Please don't come. I don't think you have good intention. And I'm not the kind of girl that you expect me to be. So this is not going to work out. Then he just kept on going into defense mode. He kept defending himself. Like this was just normal behavior for him. And at that point, I decided to go back on the app. I unmatched with him and I gave the app the reason why. Apparently, it got back to him because he texted me after and he's like, you really didn't have to give me a bad review. You totally misunderstood my point, blah, blah, blah. And now I have a bad review because of you. And I was like, well, I'm sorry that what I truly felt was what offended you. But any other person who would read this conversation would know that you are only interested in one thing and you're not interested in anything genuine. So had to let the app know. My last text to him before I went and I reported him to the app was that, honestly, dude, like your pictures are very normal. You don't even look like a guy I'm very attracted to. I need to form an attraction and you haven't even given me a chance to see you in person and you have all these expectations. Like, are you psychotic? The only reason I'm sharing this story with you girlies is because I want you to really identify the red flags. A simple question like, are you romantic, opened up so much more dialogue, and it really helped me understand who this guy is and what his true intentions are. We just need to get smarter in understanding who we're dealing with. I wasted about 3 days conversing with this man, but honestly, I'm really glad that I did it on the phone and not in person, because who knows how it could have gone if he came out here. Let this be your sign to never settle for a mediocre man who has way too many expectations from you.
Classic dating app red flag story. This guy on a Muslim dating app starts off normal, honest about his divorce, kids, career, giving green flags. Then suddenly, he keeps asking, are you romantic? Turns out his version of romance is candlelight dinner, beach walk, and then straight to his hotel for cuddling on the first date. When she calls him out, he gets defensive and says, I could have found a 25-year-old back home. See, one simple question exposed everything. Lesson in 2026. When someone pushes for physical stuff too early and gets mad when you set boundaries, that's not a misunderstanding. That's bad intentions. Never ignore those little questions that feel off. They usually reveal the truth fast. Smart move by her for unmatched and reporting him.
Hear me out. I think emotionally available daters are having the hardest time dating in modern dating in 2026. So for context, I'm a doctoral candidate. I research emotions, and a lot of my research focuses on the emotional experiences of women. So just combined with what I've heard in studies that I've done on, I focus on teacher burnout, emotional labor, but combined with that, in relation to just conversations I've had and a conversation I had with a best friend of mine recently, I've started to think through this. So this is what I'm thinking, that affectively or emotionally available people are having the hardest time because in dating, we've just become so rewired to expect people to be capricious and to expect uncertainty. We're so used to rostering and churn. We're so used to go on a few dates with someone, that person falls off the roster, we add someone on. And so I think that when we have an emotionally available dater who knows what they want, they're giving clear communication, boundaries, consistency, follow through, intentionality. And I think that that can be conflated with pressure. That for people who aren't used to experiencing those things, and they're used to not hearing from someone for 36 hours or only getting a date planned in the last minute, that's what we have come to understand the baseline of dating is. So when someone is actively doing the things that we know deep down a lot of us are seeking, people are like, wait, this is a bit much. This person's intense. But when it's nonchalant and it's inconsistent and it's ambiguous and we know that there's a potential for it to be fugacious, then there's no pressure, right? Because we're just so used to people being nonchalant. But for these chalant daters, right, the people who are intentional, the people who are emotionally available, they may often seek clarification if there's ambiguity really early, and that can also be seen as pressure. Like, wait, why is a person, we've only been on 2 dates, why are they trying to understand our communication pattern? Or why are they trying to make sure that we have a date planned within the next 5 days? And as someone who worked in an adult attachment lab my first round of grad school, I also feel like people who are anxiously attached and avoidant have a higher threshold for what's going on in modern dating. I think that people who are securely attached and emotionally available will back out of these ambiguous situations really early and altogether just leave the apps, right? The people who are like, I can't do it anymore, or like, I'm not getting the follow through, this just isn't working for me. And they'll back out and just actively eschew dating. But I think that for people who are avoidant, they'll thrive on this baseline of being inconsistent, right? And they thrive on the ghosting scenarios. And for those who are anxiously attached, unfortunately, our anxiously attached friends are just trapped in the web of the apps because there is so much the unknown and the uncertainty. And then it just creates this dopaminergic high of uncertainty to reassurance, right? That like you're feeling uncertain about someone, you think they might be ghosting you. And then out of nowhere, they send you a text like, hey, do you want to go out on Tuesday night? And then you're back to this, okay, they're into it again. But for securely attached people, that inconsistency isn't acceptable and they won't have it. So they'll just start to self-select out of dating. And so this is where I've landed in modern dating, is that I think that our friends who are chalant and who are knowing what they want, emotionally available, securely attached, are out here in the trenches.
If you think dating is cooked in 2026, you're not exactly wrong. But giving up is the worst move you can make. Under many of my videos, I keep seeing the same comments. At this point, I'd rather stay single. Dating in 2026 is cooked, and things like that. And look, I get it. I've said it myself. Dating has probably never been as hard as it is today for the average guy. But the question is that the reason to give up? Is that the reason to just throw in the towel? Yes, we live in a world where there are a lot of women who are not suited to be a great girlfriend. But to be fair, there are also plenty of men who are far from boyfriend material. Insane expectations, unrealistic standards, lack of boundaries, lack of self-respect, all of that exists on the dating market. And yes, many videos, including mine, highlight these problems. But the point of my content is not to discourage you. It is the opposite. I want to say it again. Guys, there are still a lot of good women out there. And for the ladies, there are still many good men out there. But finding them today requires more effort than before. Guys, this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. Things that worked 50 years ago don't necessarily work today. Just studying, getting a job, and being a decent guy, that's a good base. But in today's world, it's often not enough. If you want to improve your dating life, you need to work on yourself in multiple areas. Your career, your hobbies, your appearance and style, your mindset, your principles, your self-respect, your self-love. And at the same time, you need to actively work on your dating life. Make better photos for your social networks and dating apps, improve your social and texting skills, go to parties, get-togethers and other social events, meet new people in general and new ladies in particular. Approach women in public if you're willing to face that challenge. Go on dates. And if in the process you will be failing again and again, be rejected again and again, it means you're on the right track. Nobody said this would be easy. In fact, it's probably harder than ever. But step by step, you can improve your situation. Because in reality, you have two choices. You either give up and do nothing, or you keep working on yourself, fail and try again and again, every day becoming a better version of yourself and increasing your chances of building the life you actually want.
This man didn't know my last name, didn't know what company I worked for. He was already, at this point, he was already blocked on everything. Somehow he found the company that I worked for, found my work email and decided to send me a novel at midnight. And let me tell you how we got to this point. So we agreed on a place to go eat. Okay, cool. We get there. I'm dressed normal, whatever. It was nice weather. He shows up in a whole suit, which I thought it was extremely odd, but nonetheless, I thought he had made reservations. He did not. So there was a huge line for this place. So he's like, okay, let's go to this other place. We end up at this Mexican restaurant. We sit down, we're having a great conversation at first. Then he proceeds to tell me, we end up talking about, you know, like our dating history and all that. and he tells me how on one of his dates, this girl got up and I guess they were having dessert. That's what he said. We were having dessert, and literally I turned to my right and she is gone. He's like, he just started bad mouthing her, and I'm thinking to myself, like, something's missing. Like, that doesn't add up, right? Like, no girl does that. Like, you have to give a girl a reason to just literally fucking run away. Little did I know. So I'm like, okay, whatever, we continue the conversation. I didn't dwell on that topic too much. But yeah, so he insists on telling me and making like racist jokes, talking about like Nazi this and like Jewish people this and like all this shit that he like did to other dates that he thought was funny, but they didn't take it as such. And at this point I'm already uncomfortable, so he's like, oh, you know, it looks like you're taking it well. And at that point I'm like, oh god, like I hope he doesn't fucking kill me. So I'm just like literally just waiting for like us to finish eating. And as the date gets there, I'm like, okay, you know, I have to walk back to my car. Thank you for everything. He's like, no, like, let me walk with you. He's like, I'm actually heading the same way because I had parked my car a few blocks away. And I'm like, okay. So we're walking together and he's like, hey, by the way, can you drop me off of my house? And I'm like, where do you live? And he goes, I live in the Gold Coast. And if you're not from Chicago, that's one of like the neighborhoods in downtown. So it's a really nice area. It's an expensive area. And in my brain, I'm like, there's no fucking way. I'm not gonna get in the car. I'm not gonna be in the same car as this man that I don't even fucking know. I already felt uncomfortable as it is. So we're walking and we see a movie theater. He's like, hey, he's like, I really have to use the restroom. He's like, should we just go into this theater? And I'm like, okay, great. So we get in there and I'm using the restroom. And I guess I didn't let him know or something. He proceeds to blow me up. I'm talking like 10 calls in a matter of like me using the restroom for like 5 minutes. And he starts like texting me and all this shit and like alarming stuff. And I was like, oh, no. I'm like, nope. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I think that it's best if you just find your own way back. So he proceeds to still blow me up. And at this point, like the way that the restrooms were in the theater, it's like if I were to get out and he was gonna get out, like we would have seen each other. And I'm just there waiting and I'm just like, oh my God, like this, like I really thought that this man was gonna pull up to the women's restroom. And I'm just like, oh my God. So I timed it right. I get out of the restroom and I go inside where one of the movies is playing. And I'm just like sitting there like this, like all slouched, because at this point, like everything that this man had told me by that point, I'm like, he's going to fucking find me. So he's still calling me and I'm just like, so I only texted him that one time saying, hey, like it's best if, you know, you just find like your own ride. So whatever, at this point, like I'm already alarmed. So I'm like, oh my God, like there's only one exit. So I finally see an employee and he's like, hey, like, is everything okay? And I'm like, no, like I kind of tell him what's going on. And I'm like, hey, like, this is what he looks like. Is he still out there? And he's like, yeah, he's still out there. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't know what to do. And he's like, hey, there's an employee entrance and exit. He's like, if you want, I can walk with you. I can take you down that path. And I'm like, oh my God, you're such a saint. Thank you so much. So he walks me out the back and I assumed that this guy was going to be in front of like the movie theater, and where my car was parked, it was like you could see the theater. And I'm like, this man is going to fucking see me and then I am so fucked. So the employee, he was so sweet. He's like, I'm gonna walk you. He's like, don't worry. He's like, I'll look around. He's like, let's just go straight for your car. I get in my car and my car is like super fucking obvious because it has a bumper sticker that says real estate. And this guy, the employee, he's just like watching and looking out for me. And I get in my car and I'm like, can you just please like just watch me drive off? Because at this point I thought that this man was capable of anything and everything. So, and what that email said was creepy as shit. This man was talking about what could have been, our future together, all this stuff. Oh, you're amazing. This is what we're capable of. And I just like blacked out. So I had to block him on that too, which I've never done. But these dating horror stories are no joke, especially for women. So yeah, there's a few more, not as bad, thankfully. But yeah, It's tough out here for a girl.
Oh my God, this date is straight up terrifying. Guy shows up in a full suit, starts making racist jokes, then casually asks her to drop him at his place after the date. When she says no, he blows up her phone with 10 calls while she's in the bathroom. She literally had to hide in a movie theater, get help from an employee, and sneak out the back exit because she was scared for her safety. And later, he emails her at midnight talking about our future together. This is exactly why women have to be so careful in 2026. One nice guy can turn into a full nightmare in minutes. If your gut says something is off, trust it immediately and get out. Never feel bad for prioritizing your safety. Dating horror stories are real, especially for girls. Stay safe out there.
Dating in 2026 is a humiliation ritual. I've been going on dates every week for a month and a half, and tell me why I've been reminding these men how to be men. They don't know how to plan. It's like guiding a horse to water and they don't drink the water. A man with no plan is not my man. They're so uninteresting. Why am I guiding us the directions to the next place? Like, why aren't you pulling out your phone? Why are you not making sure that the traffic doesn't hit me? The exact reason why I didn't date for a year and a half. It is rough out here. I don't want to do it. By the way, the standards are so low that sometimes I get impressed by the bare minimum. The bare minimum is you literally making sure that we have a plan, you're picking me up, and you pay the bill. That's the bare minimum. And the men out here can't even do that. I'm so done with going on these dates because if I can afford to do these things on my own, I can treat myself to nice things and plan for myself, why are you here? This generation of men are so lazy. They're all princesses, and I'm about to not date anymore because I'm sick of them. We have lost the art of chivalry, the art of courting one another, because why is a woman courting a man? It should never be that way. I'm gonna be left alone. I can't do it. I'm out. Cut me out. I'm not dating anymore.
I'm currently on my way home from a date. First date of 2026. And I have no problems posting this because he told me he doesn't have TikTok. And honestly, even if he did, I wouldn't give a fuck if he saw this. Because this man decided to psychoanalyze everything about me. Everything. He and I met in the wild. We met playing kickball. And we had a really great time. And I was like, oh my God, he's kind of cute. And we were having fun. So we decided to go on a date. So we did. And as the date's going on, we're having a lovely time. I'm having a great time. But then he starts getting a little drunker. And that's when the truth starts to really come out. And he was psychoanalyzing me. And literally was I bet you're on anxiety meds. And I was like, yeah, I am. How'd you come to that conclusion? He's like, you just give those vibes. He was like, you're clearly a very sheltered person. You're clearly somebody who thinks you know everything and has seen the world, but you don't know anything. And then he just starts going on and on and on about all the things that he's decided about me. In 2 hours, he's decided all of this about me to make me feel bad about myself. I have no idea. And he was then trying to question me, oh, how many relationships have you been in? I'm like, that's none of your business. He's like, I bet you've been in a lot of situationships, but don't ever have a boyfriend. And I was like, wow, you really just have me all figured out. So we're starting the year off really strong, and I wish I could make this funny, but at this point it's not funny. It's just mean. It's just mean.
Is it just me, or is the dating world really weird right now? Exhibit A. I go on a date with this girl a couple weeks ago. Met her out a few times, seemed cool. I was like, everything will be great. I show up to dinner in a polo and pants, and then she shows up in a hoodie and sandals. Whatever. So then we get to the table and it's time to order food. This girl orders 2 entrees, bro. As a guy, you're gonna be order whatever you want, right? But 2 entrees is kind of crazy. But even after all this at the dinner, I don't get a text, I don't get a thank you the next day, nothing. So then I go on another date and I actually really like this girl. Went to a pretty expensive dinner, bought wine, the whole 9 yards. She's promised me we'll go out again, really enjoyed it. I'm like, yeah, that was awesome. I haven't heard from her since, man. So after all of this, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to text someone who seems really nice and just send them a, how are you doing? All I want is a conversation at this point. So I sent, how are you doing? To this really nice girl. Got left on red, man. I mean, this kid.
Hey guys, after sitting through all those raw TikTok clips, it's obvious. Dating in 2026 is straight up unhinged. We heard people stuck in endless talking stages, guys saying they're not ready yet because they're waiting for the perfect career or money, while their options quietly disappear. We saw guys on dating apps pushing way too hard for physical stuff on the first date, then flipping defensive when boundaries got set. We watched creepy situations where a normal-looking date turned scary fast, racist jokes, nonstop calls, hiding in theaters, and midnight emails about our future together. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. The rest of the clip showed ghosting, beige flags, date stacking, pressure, mixed signals, and that constant feeling of, is this even worth it? So here's my honest personal take and psychology breakdown. A lot of this mess comes from dating apps and social media giving us the illusion of endless options. Everyone's scared of settling, so nobody fully commits. Guys often delay real relationships, thinking they need to hit certain milestones first, but many just end up alone longer. At the same time, some people treat dating like a game with zero accountability, leading to confusion, burnout, and even unsafe situations. The truth? Real connection doesn't wait for perfect timing. You can grow and build with someone instead of waiting alone. Self-improvement is great, but it works even better when you have a supportive partner by your side. And most importantly, always trust your gut. If something feels off, it usually is. Your safety and peace should never be compromised. If you actually want something serious or a family one day, stop waiting for the right moment. Start showing up as the person you want to attract, right now. What about you? Which clip hit you the hardest? Or what's your own wildest dating story in 2026? Drop it in the comments below. If this video made you think, smash that like button, share it with your friends still stuck in the dating game, and subscribe for more real talk and analysis. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, protect your energy, and I'll catch you in the next one.